Alright, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of the return to the SWF. We are here for the final show in June. Next month, we should have the SWF network up and running. I have it already planned in my head. Doesn't matter, of course, unless we lose a shit ton of money, but I'm assuming we're going to be anywhere from $50 million to $49 million. So starting next month, it's official. We're going to launch the SWF network. We're going to try and completely take over the wrestling industry while USPW is in a free fall right now. But yeah, we are continuing our build to our WrestleMania, the Supreme Challenge number 40. In our news report, I have a couple of headlines. Nothing too big, just a couple things I thought were interesting. Burning Hammer, aka Boat Hog, have risen from medium to big. They are now a big company, but surprisingly, they are cutting a decent amount of their talent. I noticed, I can't remember his name, but the guy in two Neo X guys, I actually noticed off the top. The one dude with like the yellow streak in his hair got cut, and they're also not going to re-sign El Hijo de Relampago. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah. In other news, Ernest Youngman beat Nelson Callum to regain the PSW Championship. I'm a huge Ernest Youngman fan. He got pushed pretty heavy in my Dave save, so, shout out to Ernest Youngman. Joanne Rodriguez is pregnant again. Not again, she's just pregnant, and it doesn't really matter, though, because she's retired. So, I don't know, if you're J-Ro stan like my Tyler, then she's pregnant again, so cry in your corner, you're not getting her. And the last bit of news that I have is at the end of the last episode, we actually saw that TCW had turned Freddie Huggins' face because a match with Doc Hammond was so bad that the fans were like, Doc Hammond sucks, we'll cheer for anybody. That's probably not what actually happened, but they turned Freddie Huggins' face, and he is in a feud with Wolf Hawkins now, which means there is a real possibility that they could give fucking Freddie Huggins the world title, and I am here for that. I will, as long as Freddie Huggins is the world champ, I will not shit on TCW. That's all they have to do. So, there's that. That's it for news headlines. On our show tonight, we have a full card pre-booked. We have opening the show, match number 2, possibly of 2, possibly of 3, depending on if Angry Gilmore wins or not, of this Rat Pack gauntlet that Angry has to fight through to take on Hollywood Brett Starr at the Supreme Challenge. Up tonight, it's him versus Monty Trescard. Then we have the rematch for the World Tag Team titles, Unleash Awesomeness, Primus, Randy, BJ if she shows up. Technically, she won't, but in case. All of them are banned from ringside, so the Awesomeness will have to defend their titles against the previous champs without Randy's help. Then we have Oliver Cobb, or Randy and Primus are very mad at Oliver Cobb, so they told him to get a tag team partner so they both can beat on him. And yes, there's a tag match, Randy and Primus versus Oliver Cobb and whoever he can find. Semi-main, we have Steve Freely versus Joey Morgan, just kind of in a match of two guys that never crossed paths, I believe, in the SWF until now. Just one of the biggest names in TCW, while Steve Freely was in the SWF, and then Joey Morgan jumps to the SWF, and Steve Freely's in USPW, so their paths are finally crossing here tonight, and on Supreme TV. And then in our main event, Adam Smasher blames Valiant for getting in the way of progress or something. I don't know. Adam Smasher's kind of out of his fucking mind. So he jumped Valiant, cost Valiant his match against Hollywood Brett Starr in the main event last week. And now in the main event this week, Valiant will take on Adam Smasher to get some revenge. And Adam Smasher wants to progress, or whatever he means, so he will face him. And we have 2 dark matches here tonight. First, Sammy Smoke defeated a whole lot of Marvin. And then the Heritage beat the Sunshine Connection. So I actually have all 3 of those RIPW guys as security in our opening angle, so I thought I might as well give them a match or two, or give all 3 of them a match. Give all 3 of them a match, and just to give them some more experience with the main roster guys. But following the dark matches, we open the show with the Crippler and the Mikey Lau brawling backstage. They just can't get enough of each other. They're fucking kicking the shit out of each other, and the usual suspects, the usual security guards of Enforcer Roberts and Runaway Train and Black Cat Bailey have to pull them apart, and then some, quote-unquote unseen security guards, which were the RPW guys, also pulling them apart. Just a cold open to the show before the show intro with the two guys that are going to be fighting in the Supreme Challenge, getting some good old-fashioned brawling done a few weeks beforehand. And our opening contest here tonight gets an 80 rated match. You'll love to see it. Angry Gilmore with an 83 individual performance, but the match only goes 7 minutes and 43 seconds. Angry Gilmore hits the anger management, and he has beat Monty Trescard. He has completed match number 2 of 3 of this Rat Pack Gauntlet. All he has to do now is beat Paul Huntington next week, and he will get that no-holds-barred match against Hollywood Brett Starr at the Supreme Challenge. But right after the match, Angry Gilmore gets no time to gather himself as he is jumped back by Paul Huntington and Hollywood Brett Starr. He is jumped from behind, and this is just kind of here to let Angry Gilmore know that Hollywood Brett will be at ringside during next week's match to make sure that Angry Gilmore can't win. In a fucking 98 rated segment, slowly but surely, Gilmore and Hollywood have been climbing the rating rankings, and they are just they're popping off now, so they're going to quickly gain popularity. For those of you that watched my Rebuilding the SWF series, the original from 2016, for those of you that watched it, you know that Eric Eisen was just able to get himself over by being a menace on the mic, so Hollywood might be able to do the same here. And we cut backstage to an interview with Lenny Brown and Rogue by Anna Garcia. And Anna says, "Lenny, last week you were cheated out of your North American Championship. Despite Rogue being at ringside, the numbers game from Unleashed Awesomeness were too much for you to hold on to your title. What is the next course of action for you and your mentor, Rogue?" And before Lenny Brown can even answer the question, he is jumped by Adam Smasher and the rest of the power plant backstage, with Adam Smasher like, "I know this seems like an interesting casualty, but your friend Valiant has been getting in the way of progress, the brick wall of progress. And I can't have you two assisting him. I know your history with him. I know you helped him eliminate my boys during the Supreme Challenge, but I know Valiant was behind it. I'm not holding this against you. Just consider this a warning shot, Lenny and Rogue. I'm sorry it had to come to this, but we can't take any chances. The brick wall of progress cannot take any chances." 87 for that angle. And after that, it is time for the SWF World Tag Team Championships rematch. And the Awesomeness are able... Holy fuck, a 90! What the fuck? Holy shit. Okay, that's really surprising because this was a tainted finish. The Awesomeness were able to retain their titles, but only because Brandon James ran in, interfered in the match. Shock and awe happened. Brandon James just interfered. High Flying Hawaiian happened to be the one that get hit, but he was clearly just aiming for both of them. He was trying to do like a double clothesline while the ref was distracted, and he only hit High Flying Hawaiian, ran out of the ring. Jefferson and Huey hit the Shock and awe, retained their titles, and then after the match, his tag team partner Spencer Spade ran out. Both of them laid out the champs. They don't care who they're laying out. They just wanted to lay everybody out and pose with the SWF World Tag Team titles, trying to get any form of a victory, make their mark on the tag team division. They tried last month to get these titles, and they failed, but they're back, and they're angrier than ever. However, there are a couple men angrier than them, because after the big money makers stood tall, Finn Bruiser and Froshore, their rivals, ran out and sent them packing, made them retreat. Even the smallest victory, these two cannot get, because their past of just beating up people for fun is coming back to haunt them. And now we have a full 4-way turmoil match in the works. Who knows what's going to happen with this 79 rated segment. And up next is the tag team match, Randy Unleashed and Primus Allen versus Oliver Cobb and his tag team partner. Randy and Primus are already in the ring. They make their entrance first. Oliver Cobb enters. He doesn't enter the ring. He's not stupid. He knows he's going to get jumped if he enters the ring without his tag team partner. And genuinely, this shouldn't be a big surprise for anybody because Cobb and this man were teaming for quite some time before this, or they were good pals. They did team a couple times, but there's an added layer. There's an added layer of salt on the wound for Randy Unleashed because Oliver Cobb's partner is his own brother, ZWB, and who actually eliminated. Not only do Randy and ZWB have history in general, being the tag team, one of the greatest tag teams of SWF, and then splitting up and feud. But just to add a cherry on top, ZWB eliminated Randy Unleashed in the Supreme Rumble. So now we have a massive tag match up next. And in the end, to piss off Randy Unleashed even more, ZWB and Oliver Cobb pick up the victory, with ZWB hitting the 450-degree splash on Randy Unleashed, getting the victory, 82 rated match. And we cut backstage to see Steven Parker and Dominic D'Souza getting jumped by Squeaky, Des, Maddie Faith, and Ranger. Last week, Des and Squeaky tried to intimidate the Self-Made Sensations, and they were not budging. And I believe I said, and I quote, the Self-Made Sensation said, "What are you going to do about it?" Well, this is what they're going to do about it. They're jumping them backstage, and it's all until they are saved by Jimmy Hernandez, who is their friend. Jimmy and Steven have been, teaming for a while. Dominic joined them. They've all kind of been, teaming with each other over the course of the season. So Jimmy Hernandez comes running in with a steel chair, fends off Squeaky and his clients. And 69 rated segment there. And then after that quick brawl, we cut backstage where Randy Unleashed and Primus Allen are fuming. And Randy's pretty much like, "Cobb, you really fucked up now." Because Primus Allen is angrier than ever. And we got finished talking with Eric Eisen. And, Cobb, you should be shaking in your little cleats because you will now go one-on-one with the man-beast himself at the Supreme Challenge. He's angrier than ever, and you are about to die. So, 77 rated angle. Oh, almost forgot. And as for you, ZWB, my own brother, I ain't done with you. You're gonna get what's coming to you for beating me tonight. So there we go. Now 77 rated angle. Following that, we have Steve Freely versus Joey Morgan. This match goes 14:36. Good match, 78 rated segment. However, Freely is able to pick up the victory following interference from Greg Gage. Freely does not know that this happens. Joey and Steve are doing some sort of spot where Steve runs into the ref. Steve's trying to get him up. Greg Gage comes in from out of nowhere, nails Joey Morgan with a massive boot to the face. The ref gets to his feet. Freely hits the Freely's Comet, gets the victory. Greg Gage said that he was tired of Eric not giving him competition and that he was going to look for his own. Well, I think he's found his target as Greg Gage is picking a fight with Joey Morgan. After the match, Greg is just clapping, congratulating Steve. Steve's really confused. But all that is overshadowed when Steve Freely turns his attention to the ramp because Remo's music hits. Remo is back. He has not been seen since he lost to Mikey Lau at Master of Puppets, and Steve Freely is now in the crossfire. Not the crossfire. He is whatever. He's getting taken out by Remo because Remo runs out. He lays out Steve Freely, and then he challenges him to a one-on-one match for the Supreme Challenge. Steve Freely versus Remo, one-on-one Supreme Challenge. Oh, man. And following that, we get the highly anticipated dark room session. Scythe invited Rocky Golden into this dark room that he's been cutting promos on since the beginning of the save. It's the first time we've seen anybody other than John Greed or Scythe in this area. And Rocky Golden has absolutely no time for Scythe. Scythe tries to drop some metaphors or whatever, but Rocky Golden's like, I don't give a shit. He starts swinging at what he thinks is Scythe, and Scythe, it's not. It's a mirror, or it's smoke, or some shit. But basically, Scythe is able to use a lot of smoke and mirrors to just lay out Rocky Golden. And Scythe, once he's laid him out, it says, I hope you get used to this position, lying on your back with me on top of you, because, oh wow, weird, because at the Supreme Challenge, this is exactly what it's going to look like, and it's going to be the last thing you ever see. It's going to be the last time the SWF audience see you, is with me standing tall over your lifeless body. And then he walks off. 100 rated segment. And following that, we have a couple of match announcements, with the first being the Fatal 4-Way. It's official. Eric Eisen has made it official for the Supreme Challenge. The Awesomeness will defend their titles in a Fatal 4-Way tag team match against Hawaiian Crush, against the Big Money Makers, and against Froshore. And this is the last thing that we will be pre-booking for the Supreme Challenge here tonight. So I'm going to do a quick cut after I pre-book all of these matches. So a wide variety of matches for the Supreme Challenge set up for tonight. The Fatal 4-Way tag team match, Oliver Cobb versus Primus Allen, and then the big match, a huge match between Remo and Steve Freely, all set for the Supreme Challenge. But we do have a couple of matches announced for next week, as Des Davids and Squeaky McLean begged for it, so they will get a one-on-one match against Jimmy Hernandez. And then set up for our main event next week, ZWB and Mikey Lau will take on the North American Champion Randy Unleashed and the World Heavyweight Champion The Crippler. A massive match made for next week. And it is time for our main event. A little upset with the rating with this one. I was kind of hoping it'd be better, but you can only do so much for so long. For some fucking reason, the 10-minute match with an interference finish between the Awesomeness and Hawaiian Crush was the best thing on this show. You know what? I'm not mad about it. In fact, I'm really happy about it, because, fuck, man, I could probably have tag team title matches, main event pay-per-views now. Holy shit. Cool. But in the end, Valiant is able to defeat Adam Smasher, as he has just been too scatterbrained tonight to focus. He is all worried about Lenny Brown and Rogue earlier, that he can't fully focus on this match. So Valiant is able to capitalize. He's able to beat Adam Smasher. And yeah, 1941, he hits the V-split. And following the match, of course, Adam Smasher gets his boys to beat down Valiant until he is saved by none other than Lenny Brown and Rogue. Those two chase him off. Lenny helps Valiant to his feet. But by the time Valiant's on his feet, Rogue walks off. And for those of you that don't know, there's a lot of history between Valiant and Rogue. There's no canon stated reason for why Rogue turned on Valiant. Rogue and Valiant were one of the best tag teams of the late 2000s in the SWF before Rogue turned on him, and both of them became main event stars. And this is the first time since that both of them have been face. And so yeah, Rogue helps Valiant, live for tonight, but that's all. He walks off. He doesn't want to humor any sort of reunion. He helps him survive and then leaves. But Lenny Brown still helps him to his feet. He celebrates for a little bit. He hangs out with him. 87 rated segment to end the show. Send the fans home happy with a fucking 90. Woo! Again, crazy. Like, I'm just... Okay. Let's be honest, though. The TCW tag team division could never. It couldn't survive. It's pathetic. Sorry, excuse. Will Captain USA resign? I don't give a shit. TCW presents Total Cringe? Yeah, I know. Yeah, the show is pretty good. No, it wasn't. Dude, this is what I'm talking about. This is the TCW tag. Sorry. I'm sorry. That was gross. Very gross of me. This is a horrible show. How are they rising? I don't get it. I do not understand. I cannot comprehend. Let's take a look at our finances. I think we'll be good. To launch the SWF network. Last month we made $4 million. I think we'll be fine. I don't want advanced days because I'm not going to record the next episode right now, and I like to simulate all of that in one go. So hopefully in the next episode, everything goes smoothly. I launch the SWF network. We should have, I believe will be very big in the U.S. and Canada. This is coverage, by the way. I believe what I'm going for is very big in the U.S. and Canada, and then medium across the whole world. And it shouldn't. I think it'll cost us $30 million. So we'll still have $20 million in the bank, and then we'll have unlimited fucking coverage because all of my TV and pay-per-view deals are exempt from my own broadcaster. I'm able to air that without it being a problem. So, yeah, big things are coming for the SWF. Hopefully, within the year, or maybe by the beginning of next year, we can overtake USPW. And for the first time ever, I will start an SWF save with the goal of becoming number one and actually going through with it. So, hopefully that happens. I'm pretty hyped for it. I hope you all are too. And I hope to see you for episode number 31 of the Return of the SWF.